Wow, thank you for the wonderful feedback to Sid Breathes AiR. AiR, Atman and Ravi. Every week we discuss a topic, and today we're going to be talking about casual relationships with our cool spiritual guru, Atman and Ravi AiR. Round of applause, everybody! AiR. Casual relationships. I've been married for 10 years and I'm very blissfully married. And in my life, whenever I wanted to get married, I always told myself, I want this to be for the rest of my life. In case it doesn't happen, at least I've made my best efforts, both ways. But now people are using this word casual relationships very often. I'd like you to define it for me.
There's a paradox. When you say casual relationships, the word relationship itself means it's not casual. The moment it's casual, there cannot be a relationship. A relationship, you always say this, I have a good relationship with him. Don't you say that?
Yes.
What does it mean? A relationship is something that builds. And when you want to have a casual relationship, it only means you want to have fun. You want to have pleasure. You want to have a casual fling, not a relationship. Because if you want a relationship, that means you want it to last. So therefore, it's okay, let's take it as a casual relationship, but let us be clear that casual relationships can't work. Casual relationships are meant to be casual. So why do people want casual relationships? Let me hear from you. What is the kind of fulfillment one can get from casual relationships? Why they want it? You tell me.
Well, I feel is that it takes them away from the responsibility of being involved. Casual means, you serve my purpose, I serve your purpose. Sometimes they're open and they talk about it, right? They say, I want this from this casual relationship, and you want this, and that's how it's going to be. So responsibility, they move away.
Correct. So when you want to get away from a responsibility, then what is the purpose of that casual relationship? Is it fun or is it love? When you talk about a relationship, it is built on the foundation of love. And in love, there are two important statements. I love you because I need you, or I need you because I love you. If I love you because I need you, then it is just a transaction. It is a casual transaction, not a casual relationship. Again, I'm saying it's fine. People want to get into casual relationships because they want to understand whether it's going to work, not work. Let's quickly go back into a situation where a girl gets married to a guy. It might have happened 50 years ago, 100 years ago. She never saw the guy. She got married. And after they got married, they were completely incompatible. So seeing all the past situations, people today are looking for casual relationships, but ultimately, a relationship has to be very firm. If it is going to be a relationship, ultimately, from casual, it must be formal, firm relationship.
Now I'll tell you certain things that I hear nowadays, all right? What I hear is, some people look at physical intimacy in a casual relationship. They may not be happy with their permanent partner, so they come into agreements with someone else into physical intimacy. Or some say, you and I will have a physical intimacy kind of a casual relationship. And I've also heard when people say, I'm not getting emotional support from my spouse, my partner, so you and I will have that emotional need being satisfied in this relationship. So it's called situationship. This is the terminology that's floating around, which is situation based. I find divorces, we all know, every second day I'm asking a friend. In fact, nowadays I can't even ask my friend, are you married? How's your wife? How's your husband? Because their answer is, it's gone kaput, it's over. Why is that? I remember when we used to be in relationships, even when we were growing up, comments used to be given to us that, you know what, in marriages you need to compromise. Sometimes he will compromise, sometimes she will compromise. Do you think people have lost patience and they don't care about compromise? And should compromises be done in a relationship?
So many questions. Let's deal one by one.
Yes.
I believe that for a relationship to work, there must not be a compromise. We don't have to compromise, we have to synergize. Synergize is the word that makes a relationship work. Compromise can make it survive. With a compromise, you can survive. Because in a compromise, there is no genuine love. In a compromise, okay, I'm willing to compromise because I don't have an option. But when you synergize, I want to synergize because I love you. Let's get to the main secret. What makes relationship work? You said people are not happy with a physical, suppose there's a couple and there's no physical intimacy, so they seek physical intimacy outside.
Yes.
In some couples, there's no emotional bond and they seek emotional friendship outside. Let us be clear. You know this table?
Yep.
This table is sitting on one leg. If I only press my foot here on this glass, this table will fly up because it's sitting on one leg. But the chair you're sitting on has 4 legs. If you go in an auto rickshaw, it has 3 wheels. Have you heard? आपने सुना है auto topple होता है? सुना है?
Yes, yes.
क्यों topple होता है? Because it has got 3 legs, 3 wheels. I believe a relationship works when there is 4-legged relationship. There has to be physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. If a relationship has to work, it needs these 4 areas of bonding. Unless there is body, mind, heart, and soul, there must be body, mind, heart, and soul bonding for a relationship to be amazing. Such a relationship cannot break. But you're right, people don't know of this. So people get into a relationship, then get out of the relationship, they get into a relationship and they're not physically happy. You're not physically happy because the love is missing. Some women want emotional bonding. Women are more emotional beings, men are more physical beings. A woman will not complain for physical intimacy, just like a man will not complain for emotional lack. So we have to understand each other. And you're right, divorces are happening. Every other day there's a divorce because people are incompatible. They're incompatible because they don't know the meaning of true love. True love is not just that of the skin. True love is for the divine that is with it. If love is skin deep, it won't last long.
Wow. Okay, as always, we know, this is a show for the people, by the people. You people make us your family. Casual relationships or any form of relationships that you've been in, where you face dilemmas, and maybe you can even share your learnings from those relationships, you can ask us. Is there anyone who'd like to talk? The gentleman there. Yes, ma'am. Can we pass the mic to her, please?
Actually, here is telling right, 4 legs are required for the chair to be firm. Similarly, our family life also needs 4 things. Food, soul food is for us. Because we give preference to ourselves first, then to others. Because we have to meet God. So we have to first give food for our soul. Secondly, the relationship which you are talking about, sorry to say, they result in breakdowns. And they celebrate it. Surprisingly, in movies also, everywhere we see, they are celebrating their breakdowns also. That is not the thing to celebrate because they are not emotionally attached. That's why then when their physical lust is over, then they break off. And when the 4 things are necessary which are for our life, then we have a steady relationship and it will never break throughout our life whether it is 50 years or 60 years or 100 years. I feel the young generation needs to learn too much from the elders and from here especially, who is reminding us many times that रूह का रूह से प्यार होना चाहिए, ना कि तन का तन से मिलन is of no importance. रूह से रूह का मिलन important है because ultimately we have to meet God, be one with Him, Almighty. So I feel the young generation which they are living relationship, that also is not good. I feel it is good you see, understand somebody and then get married. But I feel when earlier marriages were taken place, we were not knowing about the drawbacks of a person also. He married me, I married him, I was not knowing about him, he doesn't know anything about me. So it takes some time to know each other. Now you know each other very well. So hardly anything to know about each other. For 2-3 years they stay happily, then divorce. So if we want to remove this drawback from the life, I think we have to believe on four.
So I have one thing.
Yeah.
For example, ma'am, I'm not judgmental here. I'm just getting your questions across to air and talking from my point of view and people's point of view. So I have a friend of mine, one of my closest friends. He has never been in a steady relationship all his life. But he's happy. He says that even if I'm 80 years tomorrow, at that time also I will find a companion. He travels the world over. He says if I'm in a single steady relationship, he's saying it'll be difficult for me to communicate with the lady and vice versa because I'm continuously traveling from country to country, city to city. So I have different companions who come my way. But he's happy in that.
So everybody has got their own way of being happy. To somebody, only a good steady relationship of body, mind, heart, soul is happiness. To somebody, they want a variety, especially men. A woman is very different. Do you know, I don't know how much you will agree with me, God has made most men to be polygamous, and God has made most women to be monogamous. This is the way, just like we have testosterone or estrogen as hormones, this is the truth. But the point is this, what she just said. What about this? You say that in the earlier days you didn't know each other, you got married. Now you know each other. I know people who have been living in for 5 years. They live in for 5 years and then they get married after 5 years and within 5 months they're divorced. Have you not heard of such relationship?
Of course.
So then what happens? Because the expectations change. As long as we were living partners, our expectations are different. The moment we get married, our expectations are different. The problem is in expectations. The problem, if there is love, then there is no problem and there will be no expectations.
But in those 5 years that they were in a live-in relationship, right? They would have been in that relationship for 5 years because there was love, I presume.
Yes, but expectations are different. They were not husband and wife. The moment you become husband and wife, the expectations change. It becomes a contract.
But don't you think that expectations human beings in general have? When I have a friend, maybe I have expectations that, you know what, I've come to Bengaluru, I'm meeting a friend of mine, I expect him to meet me with open arms, saying, you know what, let's catch up. If he doesn't catch up with me, maybe I feel hurt.
True. But you're talking about more intimacy in this case, right? So I think when there are no expectations and when love is unconditional, then the bonding is stronger. But of course, it's easier said than done. If there is a genuine love, again, as I said, which is built on physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. The lady, she told you about "Ruh se ruh ka pyar." When love is from soul to soul, that love is unbreakable. There may be problems in between two partners, but when there is soulful love doesn't dissolve so easily. It is very strong.
Any more experiences or questions?
Sorry
I'd love to
for
hear.
the interruption. Actually, when marriage takes place, one becomes authoritative. Husband takes the authority upon wife, and wife tries to take the authority on husband. If that is not there, then life is bliss. One has to have faith in each other. That is the
authority. All right, that's a very key point. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Here I have two questions. One, you have just mentioned about polygamous and monogamous. And I've recently seen a documentary where it suggests that if the whole society is polygamous, it reduces a lot of greed and jealousy and anxiety between people. What do you think about this? This is my first question.
No, if the whole society is polygamous, then we become like dogs. Dogs don't have marriages. A dog can have any partner today and tomorrow. But even there you find, even in the animal kingdom, you find there is love between pairs. Therefore, when you're talking about just momentary pleasure, it's okay. But we are not beings, we human beings are not going to be satisfied with momentary pleasure. Ultimately, we want peace. Ultimately, we want meaning. We want purpose. Therefore, relationship, therefore, family. But unfortunately, in today's world, because it's a race and it's become a chase and people are running, there's no time. People have no time to invest in relationships. People are running like mad people. We want money, we want pleasure, we want achievement. Where is the time? So that is the problem.
So my second question is this, for someone who is trying to be in a path of enlightenment in an intense way, and he also has requirements, and he also wants his physical needs to be fulfilled, he also wants everything to be fulfilled, and he also doesn't want to get attached. How do you manage with no attachment but have a healthy relationship?
So, in the journey of enlightenment, when you want to be on a spiritual path, a lot of people feel that to be on a spiritual path, you have to give up the world. There should be no relationship, there should be no physical intimacy, you should renounce everything. This is a myth. It's a myth. You don't have to, if you look at some of the Eastern religions, they say sab kuch tyag karo, renounce, give up, don't eat, don't drink, don't do anything. Just go in the mountains or renounce everything and give up everything. How do you live? It's a very boring way to live. Therefore, we have to learn to live spiritually in the material world. If we go to the other extreme, where we get attached to people, where we are so miserable because we are chasing after people, we are attached, that will take us down the misery lane. We don't want to go down the misery lane. We don't want to go down to renouncing everything. Like the Buddha said, the best way is to live the middle path. He spoke of the middle path, where you keep your focus on spiritual evolution. You want to reach that goal of liberation, but you live in the world. You enjoy the world, but you don't sink in the world. You enjoy the pleasure, but you don't crave and don't have passions in which you become a slave. So that is the combination that one must learn.
Wow. Were these questions from you or from a documentary?
No, the first question was from a documentary because it was suggested, it was from a former spiritual guru who was very famous at his own time. And he has suggested that relationships, when you are clinging to the relationship, it will damage. So being polygamous is actually setting yourself free and then knowing what you really are. Because at a point of time you realize that you don't need this. And you also are free with, if you're in just a monogamous relationship, the things like you need to follow my way to live and you need to follow my way to live. There is a combination of two people adjusting to one. But in a polygamous things, you find, as you said, if there is a relationship and situationship combined, that is a combination. So that's what it is about. That's what
So AiR, basically, I've also heard this. People are saying, if I have multiple partners, I am free. Like breakups happen, right? People I've heard personally as well saying, this relationship has taken so much out of me. I'm tired, I'm depressed. Some people say, like Ma'am was saying, I've had a breakup, I'm going to have a party, let's celebrate our breakup. But there's a school which says, I've had 4 broken relationships because I've wasted time and today I'm tired. So I'd rather reach a point where I have equations, like you were saying, transactions. Okay, this is what it is. Tomorrow I may not meet you. Tomorrow I may not call you. Tomorrow I may not have these 40-minute long conversations. But if I feel the need to meet you, or you feel the need to meet me, you call me, but you don't talk what happens before that minute in my life and after that minute. Is that healthy?
No, it may be okay as a transaction, it's not a relationship. See, in relationships, you build a relationship when you create a priority in your life. You must have heard this. Somebody says, why should I make you a priority? Why should I make you a priority when for you, I am only an option? Why should I make you a priority when for you, I am only an option? So this is the conflict in a good relationship. 2 people make each other a priority. And when 2 people make each other a priority, there is a bond, there is love, there is fulfillment. When you're talking about these casual relationships and these flings, it's a different animal altogether. It's a different product.
And I also think, and this is purely my point of view, and if you disagree, I believe when you have options, right, then none of them are going to work because you have options.
They're only options.
So you know you're living, so you're not giving you 100% because you know there's option 2, option 3. So when you have options, you will always keep moving on.
See, there's a difference. Sometimes your priority may be a combination, but it's still a combination. It's different from having casual polygamous relationships. Sometimes you may have a very strong bond with one person emotionally and one person physically. That's not polygamous. That is a good combination relationship. That is still okay. But when you are very casual, when there's no commitment, when you are just having fun, that won't work. So you have to understand because sometimes in a relationship there's one aspect that's missing. So you try to get that one aspect, but you are still committed to your relationship.
In fact, there was a recent film which I saw, Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani, all right? Dharmendra ji was playing a character where he is married to Jaya Bhaduri ji's character, but he's actually deep down emotionally attached to Shabana Azmi ji's character. So he does not have emotional compatibility with Jaya Bhaduri ji's character, and deep down he's always been in love with Shabana ji's character. Is that okay when you have emotional attachment to someone else while you're married to someone else?
So that's a movie. And in the movie called Life, these kind of different attachments do not create that beautiful, pure relationship if there is no transparency. If there is transparency amongst people, then it's fine. The problem is there's lack of transparency. Then there are misunderstandings. Then there are breakups. Because people want love to be exclusive. Somehow we believe that love is an exclusive product. We don't believe that love is meant to be shared. When in reality, divine love is not exclusive. Divine love is loving the divine in one and all.
Okay, any more questions? The lady at the back. I'd also love to have your names as well so we know who we are talking to.
I'm Pushpa here. Air, what is the most important relationship in life?
The most important relationship in life. So the most important relationship in life when I'm a child is between the child and a parent. The most important relationship when I grow from a child into an adult is the relationship between man and woman. But the most important relationship when I grow beyond a child and an adult is the relationship between me and God. Therefore, a small child can't make the relationship with God profound. That's why When we grow up, we have been taught that there is artha, kama, moksha. You have to grow. And you earn money, you develop physical relationships, but the ultimate goal is moksha. And that ultimate goal is a relationship with God. Because actually, how many of us know that love is God? Love comes from God. And love is for God.
Wow.
This word love, where is it coming from? We think that love is coming from the heart. The heart is going tup, tup, tup. And people think, oh, my heart is in love. The heart is just an organ of pumping blood. The heart has no emotion. Why does the heart beat faster? Because the mind makes the heart beat faster and you feel, hurry, my heart is beating. It's just a physical reaction. There is no love actually in the heart. Love comes from the divine that is within. And love is for the divine. We don't realize that love is soulful. Love is from the soul to the soul. When we realize this, then love becomes divine. The Greeks, they called it agape as compared to eros. Eros, the Greek, thousands of years ago, eros was the love of lust, the lust aspect of love. And agape is the divine aspect of love. The Sufis, they called it ishq hakiki, the divine love, versus ishq majazi, the pure physical love. I'm talking about what was centuries ago, thousands of years ago.
I want someone in the audience, if you'd like, if you've had a takeaway from a relationship. For example, you've had a breakup, you had a takeaway from that relationship, or maybe that relationship didn't work out and you had question marks till date. Sometimes we are in relationships which have been very close to our heart and we keep thinking, why didn't that work? Does anyone have something like that in the audience? Yes, ma'am, there.
Is it okay to be possessive in a relationship?
I hear that word very often anyways.
Being possessive in a relationship is the beginning of the end. If you love someone, let him free. If he comes back to you, he is yours. If he doesn't, he never was. The truth is this, that love is not a contract. If you try to hold somebody's neck and become possessive, you're only going to spoil the relationship. It only shows that you are not in love. Because when you are in love, when you truly love somebody, you give them freedom. And when you're not able to give somebody freedom because they don't respect your freedom, that means they don't love you. Why don't we accept the fact? Sometimes we want to demand love. Love is not something you can demand. Love is something that flows.
So there is, again, some people who say that being possessive is also because the partner is in love. And the partner loves you so much, that's why they're being possessive.
But that's not love.
Yeah?
That possessiveness which we think is love is not love. It's attachment. It is insecurity. There are different emotions that are creating an aura that appears to be love. In true love, there is no possessiveness. Because in true love, there is trust. And when there is no trust, then that possessiveness appears as a different emotion. But when there's no trust, there's no love. Love and trust are two sides of the same coin. The moment you trust somebody, you love them. The moment you love somebody, you trust them. If you lose trust in somebody, can you love them?
No.
So this is what we don't understand.
Okay, now, the era of artificial intelligence, AI. Some people say it's here to stay, that's the future, it's going to make the world a better place, professionally. But This segment of yours and mine is going to be played years down the line, because the next question is going to be what the debate of the century is going to happen. So people are going to be watching this next question 100 years down the line, because I'm going to be expecting a very solid one. With AI, now people are getting into robotic partners. Robotic partners means robos who are companions of yours with exactly what you want from your companion. And it's coming into vogue because the robos look like human beings. They feel the way you want them to feel. They have all the personality traits that you want in your companion. Like we say, na, when you get married, what is the kind of partner you want? And someone says, this quality. It's exactly like that. Do you think that will replace at least a percentage of human relationships, and robots and humans will have relationships?
I think robots and humans can have relationships, but they cannot replace a relationship between two partners. You can have, it can complement your life. You can have a robotic relationship to get a fulfillment in some aspects where you are finding a vacuum, a gap. But for a robotic, artificial intelligence partner to replace a real partner in life, to me, we are very, very far away from that, even several centuries from now. Because a human being is a human being. It's not a human doing. The robot can be a human doing. It can do what the human being does, but it cannot be. The human being can only be based on the soul, the consciousness, and the emotional feelings that come naturally. The robot is programmed. It can only react based on the programming. It cannot have its own, you may call it artificial intelligence, but it's still artificial.
Yeah. Okay. So, open relationships. Couples, when they're married also, they're saying, you and I are married, but we can have relationships outside our marriage too. But we know at the end of the day, you are for me, I am for you. But you are allowed to have relationships outside this marriage. I'm allowed to have relationships outside this marriage. Mostly it happens with physical intimacy. But they say, you know what, I love you, you love me. The marriage is there for keeps. But if there's something that doesn't satisfy you in our relationship, you can have it with other partners. But deep down, we know we are there for each other in highs and lows.
Open relationships are quite fine. They are okay. But we must realize that open relationships will ultimately close the relationship. The moment you open the relationship, outside of the relationship, you are in to close your primary relationship. Today or tomorrow, an open relationship cannot remain open forever.
Wow, open relationships will become closed relationship. Okay, I like the question that lady there had asked some time back. She said, word possessiveness in a relationship, is that good or bad? Have you had any other things that you've felt in your relationship which you'd like to have AiR ask or clarify? Yes, sir.
Guruji, the opposite partner is not spiritual. The relationship will go smoothly.
If the opposite partner is not spiritual, that means one of the wheel is gone. From the car, you become an auto. That means you're then based on physical, emotional, intellectual. If you go to a restaurant, how often have you seen that in a restaurant, people are eating food and then, this is very common. When people are dating, when they are going to a restaurant, they're all holding hands and hugging and eating and feeding each other. You know they're dating. Then you go to a restaurant and you see they're sitting opposite each other it's taking very long. You know they are married because the magic is gone. So when you don't have a spiritual bond, you've already broken one leg of the relationship. If you don't have a physical bond, you've broken the second leg. You don't have emotional bond, you've broken the third leg. Then you're standing on one leg. Each leg of the relationship makes the relationship stronger. Physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. If you want a relationship to be really beautiful, you need to have spiritual as the final magic. Without the spiritual bond, you can't have a perfect relationship.
Do you think being on social media, because people are very much active there, some people get a lot of love on social media, some people get a lot of trolling on social media. Do you feel because people are on social media apps so often, spending so much time, that's also killed relationship?
Social media is a new entry, it has a new entry in our life. But in a good relationship, you would be into social media together. You would enjoy social media together. If you and your partner are both enjoying separate social media, then you're drifting apart. I know man and woman who sit and watch one television. I know man and woman who sit in two different rooms and watch two different televisions. Now it's up to you. If you want to drift apart, whether it's through television or whether it's through social media, a good relationship is bonding. And social media should not become a divisive force. You can have social media, but you can watch YouTube together. Unfortunately, the trend is not so. The trend is that we are drifting apart, which is not healthy.
Do you think dating apps where people try and find partners on dating apps? What do you feel about that movement?
It is one more of entertainment. It is one more aspect of pleasure. As long as we believe that happiness is pleasure, earlier we were running after success, then we are running after technology, now you're running after dating apps. But this is not going to give you fulfillment. This will give you pleasure. It will not give you peace. It will never give you peace of mind. And it will never let you discover your purpose. Because the dating app is dating the body, mind, ego, which you are not. The dating app is not between soul and soul. A true relationship will succeed when the love is from the soul to soul. A dating app is what? It is just an infatuation. You look at somebody, you date, you talk. I know cases where somebody uses a fake picture and keeps on dating with a fake picture. When they come face to face, they are shocked because they never expected to see the person was this way. So these are all meaningless. They are not going to get us anywhere in the long term.
So now if you understand, financial advisors and people say, I don't want to buy a house, right? Especially in India, we have the thought process that we work hard, we work smart, and we buy a house. But now people are saying, I want to rent a house because I'm going to move, I'm not under the pressure of being in one place. So the concept of buying a house is not being advised. Do you think same way the institution of marriage, which is supposed to be there for eternity, is also going to start crumbling down?
I think that people who believe in buying a house will continue to buy a house. And people who believe in the institution of marriage will continue the institution of marriage. But there will be people who say that foolish people build houses, wise men live in them. That is their logic. Why should I spend money in building a house? You spend all your money in building a house. I'll pay a small amount and rent it from you. But what happens is a relationship is not only meant for security in your old age. A beautiful relationship, for those who know the meaning of a good relationship, creates an ecstasy of love. A beautiful relationship is very deep. Many people, unfortunately, don't understand the joy that comes from true love. I've written a book, it says, true love is bliss. It's not just a kiss. Because if you think love is just hugs and kisses and valentines, then you've not understood the meaning of true love. And so, I don't think marriage is greater than love. For me, love is greater than marriage.
My last question. Elon Musk says world's population is going on a decline, and that's how it's going to be. What do you have to say to that?
I don't think that in our lifetime population is going to decline, because it's going up. And what, according to me, I know that from 8 billion, it's going to reach 10 billion very soon, from what little I know. And what's going to happen 30 years later, 50 years later, neither you, me, or Elon Musk will be there to see. So let it be. Like they say, ke sara sara, whatever will be, will be. Let us focus on the now. Let us find true love now. Let us learn to live this moment in bliss. And let us learn something beyond a kiss that gives true happiness.
Thank you so much. Atman in Ravi, AiR. I am Siddharth Kannan. Our episode drops every Saturday. Sid Breathes AiR, our cool spiritual guru, gives you a very, very human, relatable perspective with loads of spirituality in it. Hope you seek what you want from us. Hope we can show you what we can with utmost sincerity. Remember, follow me on this Instagram handle. You can ask any question to AiR that you'd want, because this show is for the people, by the people. Sid Breathes AiR. Thank you so much for joining us.